Welcome to That's Anita Live, the talk show dedicated to providing emotional healing to help you create a happier life. I'm Anita, your host. We all know that what we eat affects how we feel. To feel great, you must eat good food. My guest today says a plant-based diet can make magnificent changes in your life. Not only do I have Gwyn, a woman making it easy for people to learn how to change to a plant-based lifestyle, but we're also joined by John and Danny, whom have used the plant-based diet with great success. Eager to hear about these lifestyle changes. Danny, I'll start with you. What made you curious enough to find out about what the plant-based diet was?
Saturday mornings, I always go to exercise class and then my farmer's market. And there was this neat little restaurant that had hot food ready. And I'm starving after I exercise, so I would eat it and loved it and always looked forward to finishing my workout and having a great meal. And there was a program that they offered to try vegan. It was a 3-week program, and one of the benefits that they said was control your sugar cravings. And that was my thing. I can't get enough. I just want it all the time. And I decided after a whole year of eating that good food and taking some home with me too, that it was time to actually do the 3-week program and try it. And within 3 days, I didn't have sugar cravings anymore. And I went to big functions with gorgeous dessert spreads, and I looked at them and I thought, I could have a cup of tea. And that's like 180 degrees from the way I spent my life.
Yeah, because I love sugar too.
Love sugar. Yeah, I used to love sugar, right? But it really, it kind of set me free. I felt for the first time that I was completely in control, and I was a lot more at peace. And I was very, the biggest change was that I was really unstuck. I cleaned out my attic, I cleaned out my kitchen drawers, like I was on it. And it was the most wonderful 3 weeks because I was very strict, I was very committed, I wanted to try it. I still splurge occasionally if it's inconvenient. I don't have vegan food, I'm at a function, I might have something that I haven't had in a while that sounds good. And then I eat a sleeve of cookies. And it is just this, it's been fascinating to watch for the last year how that happens almost every time. So the clean vegan eating is really, again, there's something so lovely about feeling in control of what you put in your mouth.
John, what made you interested in this new lifestyle?
Well, it's funny. I met Gwyn at the farmer's market, and farmer's market seems to be a hub.
Here.
Good veggies there.
For years, I have, weight-wise, struggled with my weight. Okay. And finally, I got kind of tired of that. And so Gwyn and I got talking about food in general. And she said, well, you really ought to try this 21-day program. Okay. And so I said, well, really nothing to lose. And so the other thing that happened before that was we met in June. In July, my cousin came down and visited, came to the restaurant. He and I and Gwyn sat and talked about nutrition and food. My cousin flew home, and while he wasn't here at the restaurant, he actually went online to a website called PCRM and followed that. He dropped 30 pounds in 30 days.
Whoa.
And so I said, well, if he did that, August 8th, I decided to sign up for the 21-day KICKSTART program. Okay. And it was amazing. You just eat the food and things happen. So in the 21 days, I dropped 13 pounds. And I liked that so much, I decided I'm just going to keep going. And so that was August 8th, 2016. And so it has been life-changing.
And you haven't looked back at all?
I haven't looked back. Mm-hmm. I mean, the other thing is I enjoy cooking. And at one point, back in 2010, I was actually thinking about going into business cooking baby back ribs. Well, I've come full circle. And so now, literally, I absolutely love cooking and love cooking whole food plant-based. Mm-hmm. Because the difference is it actually will make a difference. It's made a difference in my life, and it can make a difference in people's lives. So, I mean, absolutely.
So, Gwyn, break this down for me. What exactly is this plant-based lifestyle? Yes.
So it's 4 categories of foods. It's fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts, and legumes. So it's things that you've been told your whole life are good for you. It's food that you recognize, and it's minimally processed. So you hear about people on the Mediterranean diet, a vegetarian diet, a vegan diet.
Yes.
So a vegan diet is still Oreo cookies and potato chips. So a lot of processed food now is in the vegan terminology. But whole food plant-based is really foods as close to minimally processed as possible. So we use things like steaming, dry saute without oil, roasting, great pasta dishes, great rice dishes.
No dairy?
No dairy, no meat, no oil, no salt, no sugar.
Whoa.
But
Yeah.
potatoes, I love potatoes.
Yeah, potato. So it's complex carbohydrates. So it's things. If you look around, the Asian population has always been slim, and it's a rice-based diet. The marathon runners have always been plant-based. They're corn and potatoes. The Hispanic traditionally has been beans and rice. So the Asian and Hispanic cultures have always been very much plant-based. And there's an absence of chronic disease. Diseases that are chronic are things that are ongoing and they get worse over time. And so things like cancer, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, a lot of the autoimmune diseases are all diseases of diet. They're dietary choices.
Oh, okay.
And I think what was new to me, I had a background in IT. I was in the IT arena for 35 years. And I had lost a partner to heart disease when he was 50 years old. And I watched a film called Forks Over Knives. It's Eat with a Fork and Avoid a Surgical Knife. And it stars a heart surgeon and a cancer researcher. And Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn in there that basically says that people shouldn't die from heart disease, that it's a dietary choice. Genetics is what a lot of people think is the cause. When I lost my partner to heart disease, I thought it was genetics. But your parents teach you what to eat, and they teach you how to cook, and then society sort of reinforces that. And so what we do with GREENFARE, it sort of started me on that journey, and I had been, I think when I watched the film, I was what was called a pescatarian at the time. I was still eating fish and some dairy. Okay. And when I watched this film, what struck me is that it's not what you eat, it's what you don't eat. It's like when you smoke cigarettes and you stop smoking cigarettes, your body cleans itself out. It's like if you have black lungs, over time your body cleans out the tar and ash and your black lungs turn pink again. And so the same thing happens with arteries and inflammation and all of these diseases that people accept as part of aging that doesn't need to happen.
Or it's just family history.
It's family history. So your genetics may give you a predisposition for certain things. And if you look at what diseases your parents have or your grandparents, those are things that you probably need to guard against because your genes aren't protective. And so if you have heart disease in your family, then you want to steer away from animal products and steer away from oil and probably take nuts out of your diet.
These are life-altering changes, and to make that kind of switch that quickly seems
so it's like
very difficult.
It's like ripping a Band-Aid off. If you do it really slowly, it's painful. But we do at GREENFARE, so it prompted me to. I ended up reaching out to one of the principals in Forks Over Knives, Dr. Campbell. And 3 years ago, I talked 45 people of my friends and peers from work into changing their diet for just 10 days.
Whoa.
And we gave them, it was frozen food, but it was plant-based, SOS-free, salt, oil, sugar-free food that they consumed for 10 days.
How hard was it to talk coworkers and family into changing their diet?
I think people were intrigued by it because the allure was weight loss, drop cholesterol, get off high blood pressure medication, reverse a lot of the rheumatoid arthritis.
So did you just ask generally and anybody could opt in, or did you say, hey, I heard you complaining about A, B, and C. This may be of interest to you?
It was, it was actually not everybody had health issues, and some weren't health issues that you could look at a person and see that they had a health issue. There were two younger women that were in the program, and I hired a nurse to do blood testing before and after. So they did check cholesterol, a lipid profile, and in 10 days we'd see a 20% average drop. The two young women both had heart disease in their family. They were both tall and slim, and they both had a drop of over 30% of cholesterol drop. So it was dramatic. And then people that stayed on the diet, a couple months went by and I started getting letters and bottles of wine. People would stop by my house and say, this 10-day program changed my life. And so I thought, well, that's pretty cool. How often do you get to do that? So I decided to open a restaurant with a purpose of providing this KICKSTART program, which is now, it's an expanded 21-day KICKSTART. And it's designed by the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. So it's PCRM.org is a doctor's practice that's based on the science around healthy eating. They've done a lot of work with Geico and other institutions, I guess, to prove the benefits of plant-based nutrition. And so you can do this for free online, but what we do in the restaurant is we offer classes to teach sort of why you're doing it and then show you how to do it on your own. So over 4 weeks, we teach how to cook without oil, how to break food addiction to salt, sugar, and fat.
Hold on. I'm overwhelmed just listening.
Sure.
I can't imagine people opting to make the change and make it so drastically. So when you teach how to cook without oil, then they cook with what?
So it's
because
something.
obviously they don't fry anything.
No, it's called dry sauté. So you're cooking in a really hot pan, and when the pan gets to a certain temperature, you're putting onions in, and the onions actually at a certain temperature release water. So, and then you can use vegetable broth or water, coconut water, but other fluids to continue to cook the vegetables.
So do you all still cook like this today?
Absolutely. It's gotten to be crazy because, like this afternoon, I had a bag of organic green beans and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with them. So, Googled a recipe, found a recipe I liked, and made a casserole of green beans that, like you have at Thanksgiving, with the cream sauce and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, mine has no dairy.
Because I was imagining all the cheese dripping from the beans.
Right. And then the other one along that same line was this past summer, my daughter was home from college, and I taught her how to make vegan Alfredo sauce. And she loved it, took it back to school, and now her roommates are eating vegan Alfredo sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Were all of your families receptive to this lifestyle change?
No.
Oh, sounds like there's a story there. Yeah. Right back to here. Family response to the new lifestyle change.
What if I told you that you could stop the negative tape from playing inside your head? What if, with 7 simple steps, you could leave the pain of the past behind and live every day as your true, authentic self? It is possible, and you can do it. The ebook, 7 Simple Steps to Beat Emotional Baggage, How to Become Whole, Healed, Healthy, and Happy, shares how to resolve emotional baggage and feel free to live true to your own personality, spirit, and character. Transform negative thinking into positive thinking and become equipped to boldly face your past and resolve emotional pain. Get your free copy at thatanitalive.com/ebook.
And we're back with Danni, John, and Gwyn, hearing about the wonderful, shocking changes in the plant lifestyle change. You were saying that, what was some of your family responses when you first said, hey, this is what I'm going to do?
Well, my family thinks I'm crazy anyway, so it's like, well, this is just another thing. Well, it was just another thing until I lost 13 pounds, and I kept going. And so now it'll be 2 years in August. So it's not just another thing. Now, it's been a slow process with the family. My wife still is, I'll say skeptical, has a very limited, limited as far as food choices.
Okay, so she's not on board with the.
Right.
So she still eats. You
Yeah.
have all of this temptation in the house, and you still maintain.
It's because it's kind of like an addiction, Anita.
Mm-hmm.
It just.
When you
don't
stop
want
smoking
it.
cigarettes,
It's
it's like
the
if you
same
stop
idea.
smoking cigarettes, then you don't want to be around smokers anymore. It's like you just want to get them out of your sight. And so when you've gone through the sort of detox and you stop the cravings, so food can be addictive or it can be pleasurable. And what we try to do is get people into the pleasurable mindset without the addiction.
Okay.
And the difference between pleasure and addiction is choice. It's like if you feel like you're driven to doing something that you know is going to be bad for your health, then that's addiction. But when you eat for enjoyment and you know it's going to make you feel good, it's going to make you sleep better, keep your weight where you want it to be, then it's for pleasure.
Did you have a similar
I
experience?
have a husband and a senior in high school, male, still home, and they're not 100% on board, but I always have vegan food available. And if they're hungry, they eat it. And if I want to be nice to them, I might buy a rotisserie chicken or grill a piece of fish, and then they eat my food as their sides. So it's actually very easy in our family to make that work. That hasn't been difficult at all. And my husband will say that he doesn't really like the food, but he always feels so much better when he eats it. So it's hard to argue with, because you really do feel better.
How does this compare to I hear a lot of actors and actresses now talking about a raw diet.
Yeah, so the raw diet was popular maybe 5 years ago, and I think when you look at the science shows that a lot of vegetables are going to be better for you, more nutritionally available when they've actually been cooked. So things like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, kale that are sort of grayish green.
All of the things that I don't eat.
But when they get steamed, they turn a really bright green. So when they're bright green, they're more nutritionally available when you eat them. So there are lycopene from tomatoes, cooked tomatoes. You're going to get more nutrients from tomatoes when they're cooked from that perspective. So the dishes that we have at GREENFARE are things that would be sort of comfort foods. So tonight I had a mac and cheese. It's made from cashews.
Is that on the menu at GREENFARE? Now, GREENFARE is located in?
Herndon, Virginia. We're in the Kmart shopping center. You go past the Duck Donuts, past the McDonald's, and turn right at the Virginia Kitchen. And we're tucked back in a corner. And you'll see people coming in and out to get our meal plan. So a lot of the Kickstarters have gone through the program, and then they continue the meal plan.
A little more.
Sure.
It's the GREENFARE 21-day Kickstart.
Kickstart, right? We do it every month.
I come in, I said, hey, I want to sign up for this new Kickstart.
Right.
What happens next?
So we offer it every month, and it's 4 Tuesday nights in a row. Occasionally we do it on Saturdays, but usually it's on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock. You come in and have dinner, and we teach things like oil-free cooking, how to break food addiction, quick and easy meals, and then we do a label reading class and a shopping trip. So we're giving people information on why it's important to do it, and then showing how to do it on their own. So the goal is not to keep people addicted to GREENFARE food, but to give people tools to be able to take it on their own. And if they're too busy to shop or cook, then they can continue on the meal plan. And we're one of 6 organic certified restaurants in the country. So organic is very important too, from the standpoint of environment and nutrient density. But we also are plant-based, and this we call SOS free, so salt, oil, sugar free. So we don't put anything in your food that's going to cause harm. And so the dishes that we have that are probably favorites are like the spinach and sweet potato lasagna. It's got pine nut topping, and it's broccoli, carrots layered with whole wheat noodles, and it's a delicious filling.
And-
Did you want to mention that we have blood work done before
have
and
blood-
after the
blood work.
Kickstart program?
And that's an optional thing that we do for people that are concerned about cholesterol. You can elect to go through a script, where we'll send a script and you'll go into a lab and they'll draw blood before and after, and average of 20% cholesterol drop.
Now, for
So-
somebody who is busy and is always out running from one place to another, what
Right.
options do they have? Because none of this I've seen on a fast food menu. So, what do you do?
So from my standpoint, I cook once or twice a week for the week. And so I make that easy. Also, there are times when I will buy food at GREENFARE. And it's easy. And so, for example, I'll send food in with my wife into work. And it's more of, I'll send food in and absolutely love it. But they don't know it's salt, oil, or sugar.
Yeah, you can't tell.
And you can't tell. And so it's really, I found it to be relatively easy.
Right, cooking
Yep.
and preparing your own food. But if you're
Right.
out and about running around,
There are always
do you-
choices.
So a lot
I
of
love Mexican food.
Yeah, a lot of the ethnic
I have
restaurants
to
are
go
great.
to a Mexican restaurant from time to time, and I order a spinach enchilada with no cheese and no sour cream.
Yeah.
and I
Or
don't miss it a
fajitas,
bit.
vegetable fajitas.
Yeah, there's
It's grilled
plenty you
grilled
can do.
vegetables, salsa, tortilla wraps are all fine. The Asian dishes, all the Asian dishes have vegetable, long sections on where to eat vegetables. Italian restaurants, you can, excuse me, a whole grain pasta with an arrabbiata sauce, just tomato-based sauce, with steamed vegetables.
wow.
And if you cut up those vegetables that you think you don't like and you mix them all together and put great seasonings on them, you'll be amazed. They're actually good. I grew up, I liked canned green beans and frozen chopped spinach. That was it. We ate, sorry Mom, fish sticks and tater tots about 4 days a week. Anything frozen, fried, like a good Southern girl. And
Every day of the week there was something fried on the table.
But in my 30s, I wanted to have a third child, and I had had a number of miscarriages, and I learned to like vegetables. And this was even many years prior to learning about the Kickstart program. And I credit liking vegetables with actually holding a pregnancy. I really am so in on that. The right dietary choices feed us in so many ways. And I also think it leads you to be a little more open-minded. I was so stuck, like I couldn't possibly do the Kickstart program because I couldn't give up milk. I couldn't give up my lattes. Well, I get to have soy milk lattes anytime I want them. And so you do find replacements for the things you think you need. Oh. And I really notice the times when I say, I can't do that. It's just me being stuck in my own head.
Replacements.
And I really think that if you can make a lifestyle change, you're so much more open to other great changes in your life. It's
One thing, Anita, you asked about the raw food, is I took 2 years of raw food classes and really tried to go down the raw food. And that's one of the things I talked to Gwyn about at the farmer's market.
Okay.
And it wasn't sustainable. And so that's one of the things I will say about a whole food plant-based diet. For me, it's absolutely been sustainable. And so sustainable because I'm not hungry, I'm full all the time, I feel better, lost the weight, which is great, my blood work is good, I don't take any medication. And everything in life is just better.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's dramatic. We've had maybe 24 doctors go through the program too. So there's a number of doctors that are actually recommending this to patients now. That as people get in their 40s, the doctors are having discussions with them about cholesterol, blood pressure, type 2 diabetes. And so if patients are inclined to take a pill, they'll write them a prescription. But if they say, doctor, isn't there anything else I can do? They'll hand them one of our flyers. And occasionally we'll have somebody wander in the restaurant clutching our 21-day Kickstart program looking not very happy and say, my doctor told me to come here and I love meat and I don't want to give up meat. And it's like, well, you know, we can help you if you're open to trying this. The first week is hard, but the second and third week, you've broken that addiction. It's like giving up cigarettes again. And I go back to that because you look at the things that people are addicted to, and it's, you know, alcohol, cigarettes, coffee, salt, sugar, fat, dairy, you know, and animal products, right?
And so milkshakes, hamburgers.
So we make I make an awesome banana ice cream. I freeze bananas after they've ripened in the refrigerator, and when I want a treat, I'll put a handful of dark chocolate chips and some dark cherries, frozen cherries in there, some vanilla flavoring, pour it together, and it's like a Ben & Jerry's ice cream that's plant-based, and it's awesome. It tastes the same, but you don't have all the problems that people get with dairies.
What are some of the preventable diseases that you've actually seen people address?
So we can watch people get off blood pressure medication usually in 10 days, cholesterol medication in 21 to 30 days. You can see type 2 diabetes reverse in 21 to 30 days. It's dramatic. You know, you look at, I had a friend that reversed congestive heart failure. That was probably about 3 months. But
and the switch to the plant-based diet is cold turkey.
With the KICKSTART program. So moderate changes give moderate results, and dramatic changes give dramatic results.
Okay. Yes.
So it's ripping the Band-Aid off. You know, if you do this wholeheartedly, then you experience the most optimal benefits.
What is the most drastic change? Because you said 500 people have been through it?
Yeah.
Right here in little old DMV area.
Northern Virginia, yeah, absolutely.
What is the most drastic change you've seen someone make?
Oh, I mean, every day in the restaurant I hear stories. If you want to hear some life stories, you know, people come in and they say, I've been on pain medication for 2 years, and I've eaten your food for 2 weeks, and all my pain is gone. You know, you look at the opioid crisis, or I had a friend that was rheumatoid arthritis. She's on 4 medications, and in 10 days she was off of 3 of the medications, and a couple months later off of the 4th. Congestive heart failure reversed.
So we have to make the choice to be healthy.
It absolutely is a choice.
Is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
And we get to...
There's a path.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we try to make it easy with the classes, the community, and then providing the food. So all you have to do is show up to class and eat the food.
Yeah.
Changing what you eat can greatly improve how you feel. TV's Dr. Oz, comedian Monique, and even Hollywood director James Cameron are proclaiming the benefits of a plant-based diet. To reach out to Gwyn, visit GREENFARE.com. If you don't put the work in to live better, you'll never feel better about life. I'm Anita, your host. Be sure to check out thatanitalive.com for where and when to see our next episode.